Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Miracle Thought, and welcome to once again an edition of Sunday Night Art Stream. We are running a little late. I have to go and get myself something to eat, had a late dinner, and having a follow-up snack. Check my volume levels for a minute. Okay. So, there you go. Let's bring it down the adventure music, tavern music for a minute. So, last week I was on vacation. I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was very nice. So let's cover the news for the moment. The news goes thusly. I went to San Diego for Thursday and Sunday, so the quiet startish day and the quiet end day. And in between, I checked out San Diego. I went to the zoo, went to the beaches, walked around the area. It was an overall nice vacation. But now I'm back in New York. The little standing fan behind me has stopped working. And today we're just going to draw some bugs. Just draw some monsters. I have a pencil sketch here of a... Is it a bug? Is it a snake? Some kind of monstrous creature that I'm throwing into the bin of random monsters that I'm slowly adding more and more to. Say it with me now. Create Crosby. Create Crosby's Instagram account. Just lots of cool monsters and weird ink drawings, and I'm just helping him make a catalog of a bunch of monsters he may eventually turn into a D&D monster manual. So if he's doing artwork and I'm doing artwork, so whenever we have an idea, we'll just throw it out there. Throw it in there, that is. And this is just one of many sketches. I did a whole bunch earlier, but I can't show you all of it for, for obvious reasons. But, as I do pause the music for a minute, and I switch. Okay, good. Where was I? Okay, but I will show you what I got at Comic-Con. We're going to switch to the paper layer. Hello? Hello? There we go. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why. When I switch to this mode, which is usually the mode I use when I'm drawing or painting on a table, it should be my mic. And for some reason, it wasn't on. Give me a second. I'm going to make sure I'm coming across on your end too. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so yeah. So, let's talk about what I saw at New York Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con. We'll start from like the okay to the awesome. So for the okay, I stopped at a booth and they were just trying to get rid of everything they had. It was like 30% off, 40% off. And they had all these cookbooks. And they had the official, I guess Nickelodeon official, the official Avatar Last Airbender cookbook. And they had, and it's like things you would expect to see from the Four Nations. And they had like Jurassic Park cookbooks, Star Trek cookbooks. Let me see, Star Trek, Jurassic Park. Trying to think whatever, probably Lord of the Rings as well, probably. But yeah, but I was like, you know what? I need to start trying recipes and cooking more. So why not do something funny? So I bought this for myself, and it's really cute. I mean, it's all food you've probably seen before, but it's like they give some of them have like different names, like Momo's Moon Peaches, which is probably just like a sweet dessert, but now they're Momo's sweet dessert, which is funny because that means Momo is peach, so it's like Peaches Moon Peaches. Anyway, that was fun. I also bought this. Where's his name? Where's his name? I might actually tell you who this is. Anyway, it looks like a children's book, but it's not an actual children's book. It is a collection of drawings by this particular artist, ranging from characters to like character designs he has done for video games, and he's now allowed to show you from like years back. And where's his name on this? That way I can pronounce his name correctly. But essentially, this is done. Where are we? Okay, so anyway, this really cool art book, which I bought mainly because it had this beautiful like image of Monkeyin from Monkeyins fighting Lionel, and Monkey is my man. I love Monkeyin. He's such an idiot. This is the same guy who did the character designs for Spectacular Spider-Man the animated series, which was sadly cut short due to contracts, and then they launched a more kid-friendly version right afterwards. It was Spectacular Spider-Man, which then got cut short, and they released the Spider-Man after that, where it was more like Ferris Bueller, where he's talking to the audience, and it was garbage. I didn't like it, but I love his style. Like, his style is so like you definitely recognize it. He's like, here's some work with the Herculoids, some design work with the Thundercats, and I love his little I love the way he does like Wily Kid and Wily Cat. It's so cool. God, I can't find his name on this book. I'm so angry at myself. It's like not even in the back of the damn book. There it is. Sheen Galloway. 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 Sheen Galloway. I think it's Sheen. Was it Sean? Sean. Is it Sean or Sheen? But Galloway. Mr. Galloway. Love his book. Love his art style. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. I recognize him because of his art style more than his actual name. And all his books on the table were like this. Like they some of them even had like the fake gold thing on the side to make you think it was like a children's book from back in the day. And it's just a mixture of like tons of pop culture artwork and tons of just like really interesting original work of his. Like from this thing called Crazy Labs. I think it's a video game company. Look at that like pretty / witchy. Well, no, she is just pretty. Just a very pretty like wicked witch. She looks so lovable. I love her. He was really cool. By the way, hello, Joe. I do see you. Thank you for letting me know I'm coming in clear. Good to hear. But last and not least, good segue. Hello, Joe. Varner Studios. And yes, Mr. Testament, this is my copy. You have your copy. I'll bring it to you when I get you a chance. This, everyone, this like almost 1.25 inch thick book, pretty much all, hello intern, pretty much all of the concept drawings done by this studio, by Varner himself, of the original Ninja Turtle toy line. Everything they could think of. Let me see if I can find a nice, funny one. Like, everything they could think of is in here. So there's like the Ninja Turtle toy design for the dinosaurs. There's April O'Neil packing heat, apparently. Like, there's stuff in here they knew they couldn't get away with. And they didn't care. They just did all of these designs. All of these like crazy designs. Like, stuff that didn't make sense. Like he has a little pelt that's like a little woman. There's like a little woolly mammoth and like a tiger for his knee pad. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but essentially, they did the designs. They sculpted the designs and the actual like, not the original wax sculptures, but like the original castings from them. They had them in a booth. So anyone who loves those old toys with the crazy designs and like General Trag, was it? Trag had like bullet holes in his back and the snake going up his boot, just like random stuff. And I met the guy. Like I'm at the booth looking at the work, and this old man comes up to me and introduces himself, and it was him. It was him and his associate, both of which I got to sign. There it is. Howard Chang. Howard Chang was there. I got him to sign it, and I got Varner to sign it, because I'm like a casual Ninja Turtle fan. Like I love the movies, the Jim Henson ones. I love the live action movies, and I liked Ninja Turtles, and I watched the more modern ones. I don't have like an encyclopedic knowledge or like the old cartoon, but if you're a fan of the old cartoon, boom, I'm into this more for the actual toys. The toys were just like insane stuff, and he told me, the gentleman who owns the studio, he told me that like at some point Easton and Laird said to him, "Listen, we're running out of ideas. Do whatever you want." And they were like, "Let's go." Raphael was a cowboy. Michelangelo was an astronaut. Let's make a giraffe basketball player. Let's make a garbage man out of garbage. Like they were the guys who did that. At least half the team. They said they did like half the line. Someone else did the other half of the line. In terms of like numbers, not in terms of like how long they worked on it. But yeah, I'm gonna take my time looking through this whole sketchbook. It's an amazing book, and they were amazing people. I had really good conversations, and they gave me. And that was at a time when everything had to be done by hand. Everything had to be done by hand. Everything was sculpted in wax. Then they did the mold. Then they would send it to another company, and the company would like slice up the mold at certain joints. They would do sketches to instruct them how they wanted the figurine to move. But before 3D rendering, before 3D printing or whatever like that, so they had to do everything by hand. So he answered some questions I had. Like I talked to him about the Transforming April figurine. I will show that interview later because I did record him. He started talking to me about it, and I was like, "Do you mind repeating that?" And I went ahead and did a really really short interview. So I am gonna make a video. I did a short interview with him. Photographs of people in cosplay are all over my Instagram. That's there you go. That's the Burgle slide over here on Instagram. Check out the cosplay stuff there, and I also just took videos in general. It's like a mixture of like con and vacation videos. I will do a little short video for that. Look for that on YouTube. But that was my time at con. I met other interesting people, which I would not go into right now for certain reasons. But those are like my goodies I brought back. Because I couldn't bring back like big toys and stuff. Oh man. Freaking NECA. NECA premiered like the entire Gargoyles line. Once again, that'll be in my videos. But I had nowhere to put them. I was on vacation. I had no bag to carry them back with. But yeah, that was fun. So let me take off these headphones. Because I know I'm coming in clearly. So I'm going to take these off so I don't hear myself repeating everything I say to myself. Oh, look at that. Look at that receding hairline. Not even receding. It's not so much receding, it is just thinning on top, and like that's it. I wouldn't mind a receding hairline if it gave me like a nice Dracula's Widow peak. Anyway. We're gonna switch back over to, there we go, computer mode. Hello. And I'm gonna turn on some music. We're doing adventure music because we're doing some D&D-esque monsters. Creatures you find along the way. Creatures you find along the way and hope that you may slay. So, let's get to it. This, as I roll over my freaking battery cord, is the Emperor. That's the name I gave it. It was kind of hard coming up with names that weren't just like, spider caterpillar or snake caterpillar. No, this is the Emperor. It says I'm at 90%, so I should be good for battery. My phone is on its last legs. It is quite literally like it doesn't want to charge anymore. Like within the past month, the case began to disintegrate on itself. Don't know why. Anyway. These are all being done with roughly 0.5 pens. Trying to keep them in a like 4 to 4 inch box. So when I shrink them down for use of in the book, you know, they're not being shrunk too crazy. Is this 4x4? Canvas size. Yeah, 4 inch by 4 inch. It looks a bit weird though. Odd. Okay. So the Emperor is essentially like, well, I guess it's more like a centipede than it would be a caterpillar. So it has a much more aggressive, kind of snake-like attitude to itself. And I've just been mainly like, I have an idea of what I want to write in terms of describing these characters, these little monstrous little buggies. But right now I'm just trying to actually draw them more than anything else. Then I worry about like writing the background and dialogue and the stats and all that. Like I don't want to burn myself out. Speaking of fantasy and D&D, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before in a previous stream, but they dropped a trailer a while back for a new series based off of the movie Willow with the original actors and actor and everything. Haven't heard much buzz about it after the fact. I'm like, come on, people. Like, where's the screaming on Twitter? I want to hear people, you know, losing their shit over that. Are we sure this is freaking... I'm working on a 4 inch by 4 inch canvas, because it shouldn't look that pixelated if I am. That kind of bothers me. Anyway, so the Emperor looks like a tree because it's green and its legs look like leaves like this, but they do have little spikes that come off of them. Maybe it is a carnivorous plant. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it is bugging me because at this scale it shouldn't be this pixelated. It's like something's not right. Hold on, guys. Oh, that could be a problem. That's probably what it is. File save. The resolution was like super low, which it shouldn't have been. Yeah, look at that difference. Why was my resolution so freaking funky? No, screw that. We are going to we are going to fix all that. Goodbye. Yeah, my resolution was like 72 on this freaking image. That would explain why one of the other monster images came out looking weird. Alright, we're gonna go back into it, people. That was not gonna fly. Yeah, see, that is how sharp it should be. So as usual, these monster drawings are going to be pretty much black and white with just some, some quick cross-hatching. Nothing too crazy. I figure we'll start with this, and if we're doing well, as the title says, we'll do other stuff as well. Not sure what. Freaking forearm is sweaty. Everything's just sweaty. Yuck. There we go. Now we're back on. Now we're more or less where we left off. I might as well turn it off. It's just wasting power. I don't know about some of you guys. This is the last day of July. No. Yeah, 31st. Last day of July. Just to know the date that is. But I am super excited for this week. For Critical Role, because we are, once again, we're doing fantasy stuff, so why not talk about it? For those of you who don't know, the D&D campaign, Critical Role, just had a massive trader reveal, which was, I mean, so we as the viewer knew about the trader, and also yes, apparently just at the last minute, one of the players also had a wait a minute, I think this girl's a traitor. So it was revealed last week, and then they went to break, and it's like no, because you know they don't do the campaign the last day of the month, and the last Thursday they don't continue the campaign for that day, for that week, and everyone was just left hanging. They knew it, they planned it. They being like probably Matt Mercer and the traitor, the shape-shifting traitor. So they, spoilers if you haven't been watching the new season, the new campaign, but yeah. Super excited about that. I want to definitely see where it picks up. If you haven't seen all the memes online about just like how sinister the reveal was. So this bug, let me lower the volume on myself, there we go. For myself, that is. So this bug and or plant creature, it looks like, it's meant to look like a plant, like its legs are like leaves, so it curls around like old tree stumps and stuff, but obviously has a kind of centipede like num 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 kind of face. It just wants to chew on you. I realized, like, why did I do segmented on the back but not in here? We'll continue. I just want to design something that looked like it had, basically I want to design some creatures that the characters had to actually be on the lookout for. Not just, oh, you enter the cave and there's a creature, but more like everyone must roll, do your spot checks. Can you spot, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things wants to eat your face. This underbelly is just like all these little little bumpy suction cup stuff. I think I should actually rethink how I'm doing that then. All of this shell should be flipped. Shoot. Like all of this should be, all of these should be upward like that. Because you're viewing more of the bottom than the top. Ah, crud. the spikes are on the underside of its leaf-like feet. Something about that, like, maybe it's because I work in gardening and stuff. It's like when like the thorns or the horns are just like out of view because they're always like in a weird spot. They're like underneath the leaf, or like in some cases where the thorns are like so small and thin you don't notice them until you actually grab a plant itself, which is not fun, by the way. Once again, continuing the idea of fantasy and whatnot. So apparently Dragon Prince is coming back. And I saw the snippet of that, a little snippet of the trailer. After the fact, because once again, I wasn't there for Friday and Saturday. But yeah, they did something very interesting. I don't know if this was always planned though, but they're doing a time skip, as seen in the trailer. Because originally, when we saw, I watched this series a little bit on and off. I don't have Netflix, I have to catch it in pieces. When we last saw that chick who was strangely, like, people weren't sure if she actually was like trying to hit on Caleb. I'm not sure if there was like an age difference between them, if he was like how old he was compared to her. But with the chick with like now she ends up with white hair and black hair, the daughter of the bad guy. And last time we see her, we assume that like it's like right after the final battle, but in the trailer it's like, no, it's been 2 freaking years. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean for the character then? Because when we first see the end of the Dragon Prince, and we see her, we assume she's done something horrible in order to save her father's life. There's like a dead body in the background. Like in the background, you see a guy's feet. So we assume it's like right after the battle, right after everything's gone to crap, and she just did whatever she could to save her father. But now we realize there's a 2-year gap. So she had 2 years to think about what happened between her father, the kingdom, and everything. And in the trailer, she has like an elf boyfriend. So are they trying to roll back like her progression? Are they trying to like not make her a villain and just still make her like that innocent girl who's just freaking being pulled around by her father? Like, it's so weird. Because that 2-year difference, the introduction of like an elf boyfriend, which means that she's like meeting people outside the kingdom, but she still brought her father back using magic we know would mean she has to kill someone to do that. So I have no idea what they're planning for. Like, I have no freaking idea. But I know a lot of fans are excited about it, and it was an interesting series from what I did catch. So, I don't know, I'm gonna see if that stays on my radar if it can. Among, like, heaven knows how many other shows are trying to bid for my attention and your attention and everyone's attention. But yeah, that caught me way off guard. I'm like, huh. Like, how do you keep villainous progression if she's had time to think of what she's done? Unless she is just like a little loopy and crazy the whole time, we just don't really see it. But yeah, given that trailer they did show, no, she still comes off like cutesy and like, Daddy, I love you, Daddy. Look at my new elf boyfriend. I don't know why I'm giving her like a really bad British accent. I don't know why. I don't know. If you're fans of the show, you tell me your opinion about it. Put it in the commentary below. Alright, it's coming along okay. Squishy and ugly and all that, so I'm happy. Oh, and now that I'm hearing this flute, it reminds me, speaking of things making comebacks, Greg Weisman of Gargoyles fame is like, apparently, I don't know if it was just announced during the Comic-Con convention or at Comic-Con. I don't know. I wasn't there for that day, like I said. But apparently, he is going to be continuing the Gargoyles series in more comic books. And as anyone knows, I am a huge Gargoyle fan. And so we already know that the comic books continue the story from the end of season 2. So there's 3 comic books. There's 3. There's the Marvel comic book that ran along with the series, which Greg Weisman says he feels is not canon. Okay, here's the thing. If you like a series, you like it. That's fine. But if you want to know his opinion, the series, the comic that ran along, the cartoon was not canon. Season 3, with the exception of probably episode 1, he feels was not canon because they weren't a part of that show. If you liked it, you liked it. That's fine. But it wasn't done by the original creators, and therefore the creators are like, yeah, they booted us out, and therefore it's not canon. So the comic books that came out afterwards, which were Clan Building and Bad Guys. Bad Guys continue the story of, Clan Building for sure. I want to double check. I believe Bad Guys is also included with that. Clan Building picks up right at the first episode of season 3, and then continues on its own tangent. And then Bad Guys is like side stories about several, not so much villains, but other characters in the series. So he's continuing that story. So they don't know if he's going to continue it directly from clan building or do another reboot from the end of season 3, which I doubt. But yeah, I am super excited. I'm gonna have to buy those books because I'm a thirsty boy when it comes to Gargoyles. It's such a good series. I feel like Greg Weisman and his crew, because you know it's not just him writing everything, like they do their best work once they break away from the original source. Meaning, like once they were away from Disney, he was able to continue the story and you know be a bit more mature with it. I mean, the story was already mature, but in comic book form, you could show blood, you could show certain violence that even in the original Gargoyles cartoon you couldn't get away with. Not that every show needs that, like, oh, it's only adult if blood it shows up. No. But it's kind of what happened with Young Justice. Like there was some storylines that they definitely couldn't have told on Cartoon Network. For better or worse, if you ever watched was it Overly Sarcastic Productions? You know, Red loves Young Justice, but she says she kind of lost the love in season 3 for whatever personal reason she had. But she does mention like one of it was like they had a character who could just die in every episode, and they just kept freaking killing her like in gruesome ways, and I totally get that. Like even I was like, that's a bit excessive. But in that was like after they got away from Cartoon Network and were like on Netflix or something like that. But with the Gargoyles comic, there is blood and there is some like genuine like, oh wow, yeah, you couldn't have done that on kids TV moments, but it's not. I still feel it's still good. It's not like gratuitous, you know. There are a few like definite shock moments when I was reading the comic. I was like, oh wow, that person just did that. That is really freaking dark. But you know, but sometimes you want to tell an adult story using cartoon characters. Freaking do it. As long as you don't, you know, it doesn't have to be freaking Rick and Morty. It doesn't have to be everything. It doesn't have to be like gore and fart jokes and penis jokes does not make mature content. It's labeled as adult content. It is not mature content. So I'm just giving it like something to sit on. It's on a tree trunk. It's on an old rotted tree trunk. I noticed for most of these I've been doing light coming from right to left, so why not keep it in that vein, you know? So while at the convention, and once again, I can't give you too many details of this particular event. I was showing my portfolio. Well, not so much my portfolio. I was showing a collection of work I brought with me to a section where they were doing portfolio reviews, right? And, you know, you gotta sit down, you gotta wait your turn. You know, don't be a savage. And as I'm waiting, one of the young women who's there, I don't know, maybe in her 20s, late 20s, late teens. I mean, early 20s, late teens. I'm not sure. I can't tell age. But essentially, she's there just to, like, you know, keep the order. Meaning, like, you know, she keeps track of the names to see who's next in line to get the portfolio checked. Yada yada yada. So she comes up to me and she's like, because I was at some point I just sat down and started drawing because I was waiting. And, you know, what do artists do when they wait? They start drawing. Because we're simple beasts like that. And how's it looking so far? Okay, that's good. And she was like, oh, what you drawing? Either that or she asked me, are you drawing? And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, we're all here for portfolio review. Of course we are. But I was like, oh yeah, just drawing some stuff. And by the way, this is also when I did a bunch of monster designs, which I, once again, will not show you. But I could show you some stuff. I could show you what I told her. Because she was like, you know, I want to get into, she goes, I want to get into drawing. It just, I don't know what to draw. Like, I'm no good at it. And I'm like, and everyone says that, right? Everyone says that at some point. I'm not good. I can't draw. So I gave her a speech based on what I've been doing recently. So let me make a new layer real quick. Let me save what we got so far. So I've probably said this before in the stream, but we're gonna repeat it. Okay, now green is too. Let's go with a nice blue color. How's that blue? Yeah, looks good. Okay. So let's do this. Let's take a minute away from the bug. So I told her, oh, I'm just drawing monsters. Like, right now I don't know what to draw. I told her, right now I have no idea what to draw. And frankly, I don't want to have to worry too much about anatomy, so I'm just drawing just monsters. She's like, oh, I wish I could just think of stuff like that. And I go, well, it's pretty simple. Let me show you something. And she goes, okay. And so I'm going to repeat exactly what I showed her. I said, sometimes when I do streams and I don't know what to draw, I just start drawing shapes and let the shapes talk to me. So for example, I drew like an oblong circle. I was like, here's a circle, right? She goes, okay. And I look at it and I go, well, now what? How about we just, let's do it like a thing like this, right? And you know what? It kind of looks like it kind of looks like a neck. So why not just do one eye there and do like an eye there? You know, it's okay. You know, now it kind of looks like an alien, but aliens are boring. So let's give it a mohawk and let's do a spike like that. And then I stopped and I said, and this is pretty much what I do. I just start drawing shapes and let the shapes tell me, well, this looks like that. This looks like that. And she was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I get it. And then she sat down. And while she sat down, I decided to tone that circle, lean into the oblong of this circle, add a little bit of flesh bump here, fill out the head. You know, I did a better mohawk than what you see here, but I worked on the mohawk. And originally I gave him a little nose and like a mouth like that. And I was like, no, you know what, let's switch it. And I decided to give him a screaming mouth with a little beak. And since he had a beak, I was like, well, why not just give him a waddle? Let's give him the long neck. Let's do some shoulder feathers. Let's just simplify the torso, give him a little chest like that. Right? It's a nipple and a nipple. Obviously, the final drawing was better. And then I continued the mohawk as like spikes on his back. And I look up at her as I'm just filling in the gaps of this random shape I did. And I noticed she's sitting there. Converse. Joe. They're called Converse. Those are the sneakers I was thinking about. She was wearing, I can't draw a shoe to save my life. But let's imagine this is a Converse sneaker from the bottom. So she's sitting there with her legs crossed. So I see this. This is what I see. As she sits there with one leg over the other, she has, you know, this leg is here, the other leg is, you know, bent over here with her foot down here, her boot over there. And I noticed she had grabbed a pen and started doing puzzle oblong continuous shapes on her white Converse sneakers. She was just sitting there drawing shapes in her Converse. And I was thinking to myself, you know, when she's done with that, she could go ahead and do, you know, different rainbow colors, and she could paint them into blotches. I don't know what she's gonna do, but she started doing random shapes. And right before I got called up, I showed her the finished picture in my sketchbook. I was like, look, it's an alien rooster. And she started laughing. And she was like, wow, that's cool. I go, yeah. And I told her, and I right before I went in, I repeated to her, sometimes I don't want to deal with anatomy and just doing random shapes, and then you let the shapes tell you what comes up next. And I don't know. It was just really cool to like have this kind of conversation and then see her start drawing random shapes on her shoes. That she could then paint into puzzle patterns or whatever she wants. And that was like my little like 5 minutes of fame when it comes to like teaching. Because sometimes, you know, you draw a box, draw little triangles on the side. You know what? It's curve those triangles out. And it is now a goofy dog. Sometimes you just gotta just throw shapes down, and that's how you end up with just like weird concepts. But the best one I've ever done was make it bigger. Did an oval one day. I did a line across. Then I did this. Then I went and erased the line. And after a while, I had my character Hooktail, the Devil Hooktail, whose comic I'm still working on. It's not on the, it's on the back burner like so many other projects, but that's how I came up with my character of Hooktail. And sometimes you just gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta take a break from thinking too much and just throw shapes down. And Mr. Testament in the chat knows about that. Alright, let's get back. So I don't need to sketch anymore. I'm just gonna finish up some cross hatching. And then we'll go to another picture. Now that I know that I can adjust the resolution. Now that I know that I can adjust the resolution after the fact, there's one particular drawing that I want to go back and fix. Because I kept wondering why it was looking so weird. It's actually part of this collection too. Alright, so that's the Emperor. Keep changing my brush. It kind of mixed between a caterpillar, a snake, and a centipede. God knows I hate them centipedes. Oof. I'm on the wrong layer. Come on. There we go. Just want to clean up some cross-hatching lines. Make sure they don't overlap where they shouldn't. Shall merge said layers. Merge the layers. Alright, Emperor. He looking good. Okay. File save. File save as JPEG. Save. File open. Where are you? Where are you, you glass golem? That's the JPEG. There you go. There's the original. I'm gonna assume your resolution is, yep, it is low. Oh, but no, I would have to redraw them anyway. Even if I change resolution, I have to redraw them anyway. Okay, so we'll, don't save. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to that guy another time. I don't feel like redrawing him right now. But he's the one that had like weird resolution compared to every other drawing I had. Don't know why the settings changed. It just did. There we go. And to my left, sorry, to your left and on my right. Ooh, what's going on? Here we go. To my right, your left? I don't know. To this side of me is a pile of clothes that need to be folded. I don't feel like folding clothes. It's so crummy in here. Come on, buddy. I don't want to open the window because they've been blasting music this whole night. How about... Let me see, have I scanned my most recent sketch of one of my original characters? Let's see. Find the folder. It is not in here. I did a drawing of one of my characters recently. I had like original characters, and I was really happy with the way the pencils looked. It was like the evolution of the character based on the last time I drew her. Let me see if I can find that folder. Maybe we could do some inking with that. You know what? I'll take this imperfect drawing of her. It's an imperfect drawing. I'm not really happy with it. And we're gonna go ahead and draw my and ink my characters. This is Dynea or Dinah. Kind of, I've always worked on how to pronounce her name. Dynea. I want to say Dynea. White background. Fade her out. We're gonna use this as a semi-base to rework the drawing. Let's go. So this is one of my oldest characters, right? Loosely based off my sister. Very, very loosely. More like, I think of my sister when I draw her, but she's not really like based on my sister at all. And she lives on the island. If any of you watch my YouTube channel, you will know about the island that I made a map for, like a physical 3-dimensional map of the island. That is where she lives. She lives on the island with all manner of unique, monstrous creatures. Kind of a island of Dr. Moreau, but with a happy ending. Like, these are intelligent, animal-like creatures. And I struggle with this character because she was made at a point where I was like, I must define her with certain traits. But as you evolve, your style, do you keep those old traits of how she's supposed to look, you know? Like, if you no longer draw like that, do you still want to keep those traits? Those, like, precise markings, those weird anatomical hiccups that you did when you were young, do you still want to keep them? One thing is, yes, she has a button nose. That is one thing my sister has. My sister has like little round nose and like round cheeks, and she gets it more from my mom. My mom and I get my sister and I get that from, I think, my mom's side, because I do not have my dad's nose, most definitely. But like the shape of her eyes, like is that something I want to keep after all these years? I don't know. One thing I do keep for her and her brother is that they have like really big eyes, like not even like anime eyes. Their eyes are just naturally like almost animalistically large. It's kind of a trait that indicates that they themselves are not quite human anymore. Also, when I used to draw her, I used to draw the ears a bit too big, and then one day my friend asked me, so is she human? Because she has really odd ears. And I said, you know what? Why not keep that trait? Like, she is human. She just has freaking, like, somewhat large ears. But then look at the way, like, characters like, Dragon Ball Z characters were done. Look at, Ryoko from freaking, Tenchi Muyo. Especially Tenchi Muyo. I was never too sure if that was a trait because they were aliens, but a lot of the characters had like squared off large ears, like not really pointed elf ears, but like large squared off ears, especially Ryoko. Also gave her squared off lips. Why? Because at the time I was like, I need something to define this character. So I always gave her square off lips, which I've been trying to like do a bit more realistically in terms of like the shape. But she still has like that angle to her. I think if I was to get an actress for her, she would have really thin lips. Also, I used to design her hair just like as a simple box. Just like, it just used to be squared, like just straight up and squared. But I finally found some really good reference, like fashion reference, like design and hair design and stuff. And I found a woman, several, who had a particular hairstyle where it's like the hair is gelled back and then long. It's purposely held back. And I'm like, but it's not flat to the skull. It's kind of squared off. And I was like, that's it. That's what I've always been trying to do. And I freaking, you bet yourself I freaking saved that reference image. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can find that drawing so I can do the hair correct. Stand by. So I found the book, I found the sketches I did, and I realized what I did in these newer sketches, I squared off her face and jaw, more like her brother. Her brother has like a square, simple head. And I think that's the main difference between how I used to draw her and now. I gave it just a more defined face. Something like that. Because she is looking a little downward here, so the curve will still be there. Yeah, that's the main difference. Not as harsh, but freaking one pencil. And it definitely gives a bit more of a mature look. I mean, she's supposed to be like roughly 15, 14 or 15 years old, depending on when the story lands. Yeah, that's what I did. And then, oh, by the way, alien chicken. Alright, now the hair. So it's still like squared off back. Just a bit of a mess. And it's like you can actually see the curves in it. It's like a girl mullet, I guess. Like it's really combed back hard. Then it just flops in the background. Just flops back. She doesn't really have the strong cheekbones. Her brother has that. Her brother's bald, so he needs some kind of facial feature to work. And with him, it's the strong cheekbones. And she has just, you know, thin eyebrows. Yep, definitely a bit more mature than where I used to draw her, but that's her. The older drawings, like I said, the old drawing was always much more rounded and softer. But when I recently drew her, I gave her like the more squared out face, and it just looked right for the character. Because the character is she's playful, but she does have a bit of a shorter temper than her brother, much shorter than her brother does, which I guess is. I don't know. Maybe that's a part of my sister I'm thinking of. And yes, like once again, she has a little bit of a 5 head. Let's do straight black hair for now. Like I'm just gonna go nuts with the black hair. big. Don't worry, it's on a separate layer. Bit large on the forehead, but she's always had a squared off forehead. And her hair is just like she takes tree sap and just pulls it back. I don't know what the actual hairstyle is called. When I saw it, when I just typed in pulled back long hair, and I found a number of models who had that, and I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. That's my girl. By the way, don't think I forgot about the Camille drawing I did a while back where I finished all of her, but no background. I have her right here. One day we shall return to that. Now for the test. Do a little cleanup on the lips. Make the line work less scratchy. And a teacher once told me, we were drawing a model, and she was like, in the human anatomy, it was like the forehead should not stick out more than the cheekbone. She might be right, but that model's forehead stuck out way beyond the cheekbone. And I know that because we had a conversation with I had a conversation with the other artists afterwards, and I was like, was I wrong in that? And they're like, no, you drew it right. That person had like a gorilla forehead. That's better. Okay, file save. And drink, because it is muggy. You know what? It is 9:55. I know we started late today at 8:20, but I think we could call it. You know, got one more monster image in. Got one more monster image in the can. There we go. And I got to draw Dynea. Yeah, Dynea needs some love. I haven't drawn her in a very long time. At least I haven't like solidified. And I'm thinking based on the new drawings I've done of her, this slightly more mature looking design of like the more angled face kind of works. Definitely compliments with her brother. So yeah, I did a bunch of monster sketches while I was down at the con. I might ink some more later on. In fact, I have some pencil ones that need to be done, like this goober right here. Is it a skull with a long tongue, or is it a snake with a skull head? Don't know. I have him, and I've done some designs for more transforming pack characters. You know the ones I do, where it's the human characters who transform into monsters because they have a type of parasite attached to them. If you haven't seen those, definitely go to my YouTube channel. There's Spider, Starve, Good Boy, and Cello, which are all human figurines that transform into like various monsters. And I've done some new designs, and I'm thinking I might redo those figurines from scratch, like not really kit bash them, and solidify a simplified transformation, simplified figurine. Less articulation, but more of just like a collectible transforming monster. I might want to like work on those and like really make it a brand. Like design them at a certain, like design it with my art style, as opposed to just customizing pre-made wrestling figurines, which still work, but like, you know, really make it mine. And also work on making them in such a way where I could then reproduce them. So I have to I have ideas. I have ideas, people. Too many ideas. But anyway, Joe, thank you for chiming in, letting me know that everything was running nice and smooth. Turn the music off right now. That's Dynea, everyone, and you already saw the Emperor. So yeah, links on the side. Check me out. Check out the Comic-Con photos I put on Instagram. I will put those photos also on Facebook. Usually I have several folders of all the cosplayers I run into at various conventions. And stay tuned to my YouTube channel because I will be editing footage of just my general vacation out there. And it'll be broken up into like vacation and con information, where you get to see me talk to this fine gentleman. It was so good meeting him and his associates. But yeah, I think that's it. So once again, guys, I am Dante. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.